Kill that.
Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with Mike's happy bucks, Gary.
All right. Well, I'm going to do 2 happy bucks this morning because I found the power button to the sound system. I found, despite his attempts at trying to hide it sneakily, the remote.
It has this little circle that's on and off. I mean, you know.
So I'm talking about the remote now.
Oh,
the remote. I found it. He sneakily put it right where it's supposed to be, underneath the microphone in the microphone box. So I looked there this morning and found it. So between Dave and I, we kind of, Dave did all of that stuff, and I watched it a little more closely today. I have brought in an iPad that I don't use, because now I'm donating to the club so that we can have the iPad show the speakers. So it's pretty soon we'll find out Zoom is no longer needed, and once we got it figured out. So there's my 2 happy bucks that we seem to have it, as long as Ann and Todd don't start pounding on the table. All right, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I have a successful round trip to Shreveport, Louisiana and back, which is not happy bucks for. I was moving back furniture for my son. Happy bucks is that I never had to go to Shreveport, Louisiana.
He's back. Okay.
No, he's not back, but it's furniture.
All right, anybody else? Wait.
Oh, no.
I would have, but I would suggest that if you're not a past district governor, you should pay a fine. If you're not,
Okay, let me remind you, beginning July 1st, we'll be starting your arms, so if you don't take the vote now, just wait. Yes, sir. You're just happy. That's wonderful. Yes, sir.
On time today? All right.
All right.
all right,
Here we go.
we can't move any closer to your house.
Well, we could. We could start making an engagement. Yes, ma'am, Linda, you have a guest?
I have a brand new granddaughter. She's 2 months old. Her name's Mackenzie Rose.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, okay.
You do something. I don't
No,
want
that's all right. I know you're the whole way to the district is. No, I would say that.
I'm really happy to be here today. I'm also happy to bring with me Dr. Bruce Green, our Director of Secondary Education. As you guys all know, I have been asked for almost 2 years now with the club or sporadically attending. And I don't see any light near the end of the tunnel. I'm not sure there's the end of the tunnel yet. I'm hopeful there is, and I'm assuming there is, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Bruce has agreed to start attending club meetings, join the club, and there may be an opportunity for us both to attend time to time as well. Bruce works very closely with the high school. Bruce actually has a program next week. He's going to talk to Dr. Haywood, the principal of the high school, to come and share the goings on at the high school and the real improvement efforts that they've been working on together at high school. Maybe at another time you can also talk to middle school. He's also working to improve our middle schools. Has made several proposals to the board. Is really working aggressively to improve our secondary experiences at our school district. Bruce has a tremendous amount of experience. He comes to us from Hayeswood, where he was responsible for all of their high schools, 3 comprehensive large high schools, as well as technology, safety, security, I don't want to forget a number of things. And prior to that, the high school principal of Paces Central. Prior to that, I was principal in St. Louis Public. Tons of experience in education and administration. And really, it's hard to find someone in education in the St. Louis region that Bruce does not know. He has a ton of contacts and networks everywhere, which I think also is an added value to the club, having someone like Bruce be a member and a part of the club. So, I want to thank him.
Anyone else? Once, going twice? Okay. Well, we got an email. We got an email, I guess it's December. Linda wanted to come and present, do some presentations to the club on the foundation. And I thought, oh, let's just see if she might speak to us a little bit and wrap it all, wrap the program. And she kindly agreed to come, and we'll let her tell what she's going to talk about. We gave her several topics to choose from. One of them was the foundation, and she said, I don't need to talk to you guys about a foundation. So we can't check off the foundation report because I know on the president's citation, there's a program about foundation. Is there still? I thought there was at one time. So
There's like 5 things on the Rotary citation. There's 5 different foundation options.
okay.
And you always get 2 of them. Always.
Right. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, first things first. I love getting out awards. My favorite thing to do is the district foundation. So, who was the club president last year? Mitch. Okay, so could I have Mitch and Tom Drennan? And you can be the official photographer. Okay.
Just hold the button up. My kids always take the phone away from me when What is this one?
Just take 40 of them, that's what I do. You can give me a phone and I go, well, I go like this, but I'll just turn it the other way. Don't zoom in. I can't zoom in.
Okay, so what we have here is the polio award means that your club gave a minimum of $1,500 to the polio fund. So this is the certificate to this. So let's do this picture first. Okay, there you are.
Yep.
This one you should be the most proud of. This is your club is the #1 giving in the whole district.
Not per capita.
Actual.
Per capita,
And
$1,045 per person average. It's unheard of. No, you guys did that.
It's unheard of for us, but
Okay,
there's clubs that do that already. It's amazing.
okay. So I would proudly present your club with the #1 club for giving. So if you guys want to smile, look great.
That's great. Yeah, it's in that, working.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
And the next closest, the #2 per giving club had $262 per capita.
Oh, wow.
So that just lets you guys know that you went over the top. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, club.
Here's your letter from Rotary International on folder. Okay. So first of all, I opened a new new Rotary Club in Southeast Missouri. And I think that's what you guys wanted me to talk about. So I can kind of tell you how we started and where we're at, and then I would love to entertain all of your questions. How that sound? Okay. So December of 2020. So we're talking a year ago and a month. I had a job benefit change. I didn't have a job change. My employer changed our lunch from however long we wanted to take to 30 minutes. So being a morning club, you don't have to worry about a lunch hour. But when you're in a lunch club and you only get 30 minutes for lunch, you can figure out real fast that doesn't work. So I didn't want to join the existing morning club, so I wanted an evening club. So December of 2020, I started planning a group of people, because you need 20 to open a new club. So I contacted people that were terminated from other clubs because they couldn't make lunch meetings anymore. I would contact people that liked my Rotary pictures on Facebook. I literally got 24 chartered members by doing those two things. Going to former members and going to people on Facebook that noticed what I was doing. And so in December 2020, I sent out a survey monkey of about 13 questions. And that was the start of our group. So we chartered with 24 people on March 2nd, 2021. We are up to 29 members now. We've lost, we've gained, we've lost, we've gained. So we've lost charter members, we've brought new members in. So even a new club, it's a revolving door of members. You mentioned that you wanted to know, how did we decide on our name? So that was part of the questions in the Survey Monkey. So I had lots of suggestions and we talked about all of them, and we finally decided, well, there's already 3 Cape Girardeau clubs. So there's a Cape Girardeau, there's a Cape Girardeau County, and there's a Cape Girardeau West. So for sure, we didn't need another Cape Girardeau club. We also didn't want to say we're a Jackson club because there's already a Jackson club. We didn't want to tie ourselves to one city either. So that's how we came up with the name Rotary Club of Southeast Missouri Service. Now, we could have left it Rotary Club of Southeast Missouri to cover the whole area, but we opened as a non-traditional club. We opened as a cause-based club. A cause-based club is you are focused on one thing, and our one thing is service. Instead of having meetings, we have service. So that's how we came up with our name, Rotary Club of Southeast Missouri Service. And we meet, I have one group that meets the first Thursday of the month at 6:30. I have another group that meets the second Monday of each month at 6:30 p.m. We both meet at the Jackson Senior Center because it's free. We do not have a meal.
We do not have club dues. We have the $90 Rotary International dues, and we have the $25 district dues. And that's what I collect from the members. Now, you think, well, where are you getting all your money to do all these things? Well, keep in mind, we're a service club. We don't write checks to people. We look for service opportunities in our community. We're a labor intensive club. We're not a check writing club. Questions that you might have. Oh, by the way, we are 10% men, 90% women in our club. 50. Our youngest is 30, our oldest is 88. We have as many as 3 a month and as few as 0. For example, in January, we haven't had a service project. Now in February, we have a food packing event. We like to go down to Sykeston to the SEMO food bank and pack food. That's really I got 2 new members just because of the food bank, because that's what they like to do, and they know our club likes to do that. So
You could have members from Sykeston just doing that.
I could, yes, I could, but see, then I would be taken away from the Sykeston Rotary Club. I know, but I'm very conscious about who I get, because when I opened this club, I promised all the club presidents that I would never take a member from them. I wouldn't even allow it. Now, the problem is it happened because I was calling on the spouse. Oh, I got 2 spouses of Cape West Rotary. Cape West is my old club. So I have 2 spouses of 2 men that were in Cape West in my club now. So I went that way too. I thought, you know, they're interested in Rotary, but they couldn't go to a noon club either.
Well, they may not just want to go
To the same club with their husband too, right? They wanted to be involved, but they didn't want to join Cape West with their spouse. So I got 2 members like that. So you just have to keep an open mind to what kind of members you want. You know, I unfortunately have a few members that don't do anything. They don't come to meetings. They don't participate in any activities. They paid their dues. Oh, by the way, I collect dues. When they do an application, I collect the whole annual due at that time, because I don't want to get stuck 6 months down the road and not have any money from that person. So that's a requirement. When they do an application, they give me a check for $115. Let's see, I lost my train of thought. What was I?
Slate of officers?
Slate of officers. We have a president, a secretary treasurer, public image chair, foundation chair, and membership chair. We don't go beyond much anything else.
You have a separate board meeting then?
We don't have board meetings.
Okay.
We have our meetings. If there's a business meeting to have, it's had at our monthly meetings. Our monthly meetings are Zoom and in person, so they have their choice. I try to have one program, so one speaker, and then the rest of the time that we are talking about future service projects, planning. So every month, that's like our board meeting. It's our planning meeting plus a speaker. And since we don't have a meal, we don't have that 20-minute, you know. So we actually, since we only meet once a month, our meetings usually last an hour and a half. So, because we have so much to talk about and socialize. You know, and anybody can bring anything they want to drink too. So yeah, beer and wine is allowed. Nothing harder than that is allowed at the Jackson Senior Center, but we can bring beer and wine in. Yes, Tom.
What are some of the other service projects?
We, our first service project was picking up litter around schools. Our second project was sponsoring a Easter egg hunt and a Christmas meal for a safe house for women. We have, our only fundraiser we had was we worked the attendance gates at the SEMO District Fair. So they paid us minimum wage to collect money and tickets. So that was our only fundraising. And we used that money to pay for the RILA student that we just signed up. So we have to do a little bit of something every year to have some money to do those things with. We have volunteered at the SEMO Fair in the kids zone. So we had about 8 of us working in the kids zone. That is school kids come in like on field trips, and it's a hands-on farming, chickens, eggs, water systems, live animals, milking a cow. I mean, it's all the kids zone, hands-on, how do you do this? Where's the food come from? Type thing. Let's see. The Vintage Now fashion show that benefits the Safe House for Women, we blew up 10,000 balloons for their event. I'm trying to think of everything that we've done because we've had 12 projects. We've had at least once a month. Oh my goodness, Wreaths Across America, that was our biggie. So we put 1,300 wreaths on veterans' graves in 2 of the cemeteries in our area. So we're gonna, every year we're going to choose a different cemetery to honor veterans. And that was fundraising. Yeah, so that none of that money came to the club. That was, we fundraised to get that money for that. And it was part of the CAP grant too. Let's see, what else did we do in December? We had, we volunteered our time at a 5K run. So we were at finish line handing out meal packets, bananas, you know, food, drink at the end of the race.
Screw up my name.
Trying to think of one of our other projects was collecting suitcases for foster kids. And we also collected stuffed animals for foster kids. See, we do so many, and it's trying to remember off the top of my head. We are going to, in April, have a birthday celebration for a little boy that died when he was 3. Levi's Adventure Trail is a playground that was built in one of our parks. And we were going to have this last year in October, but they canceled it because of COVID. So they're going to try to have it in April. But our club is going to bake 20 dozen cupcakes. So, so a lot of the things we do will come out of our own pocket, but that's part of being a Rotarian, right? Money comes out of your own pocket. Now, if eventually, because we're not even a year old yet, so right now we're in the planning stages of what kind of fundraising can we do so we can get some money, so we can do some things. Because like I said, we need to raise another $500 to sponsor a student next year. And I'm in the middle right now of the 2 students that we got. I'm trying to set up an Interact club now in their school. So I got the RILA sponsored first to tie into, okay, so every year, if you want to get this Interact going, then every year we can get a student from the Interact club. So that's just trying to get another thing open for our club and get sponsorship going. Questions you have?
Do different members kind of take charge of the different service projects?
Yes. I assign one person in charge of each project. We do have one person that's supposed to be in charge of keeping track of all these, but that hasn't really worked out, so I'm doing it. But what we do is the members are coming up with these service projects. So it's something that's passionate to them, or, they're really involved in it. So then our club will get involved in it. But there is one person that is in charge of each event. Other questions you might have? Yes, Tom.
Officer succession. Are you gonna have a new president July 1? Okay. I can't say much about that.
Well, 80% of the people in the club don't know anything about Rotary. So it's my job to stay on as president and teach them about Rotary. So they want to be an officer. Right now, they don't even know what district they're in. I mean, so
You have 2 official meetings a month
Mhm.
with different groups, different halves of the club.
yes, that's another thing that we did in the Survey Monkey. So here, let me just kind of read you some of the questions that we did. So we did, what are the ideal days? What are the ideal times? If you're interested in a officer position, a lot of them said they wanted to be an officer, but no one really signed up when I was asking. In a nutshell, there was only one person on Monday that couldn't come and one person on Thursday that couldn't come. Tuesday and Wednesday, there was 5 and 6 people that couldn't come. So that's where we came up with the Monday and the Thursday. So we originally started on Thursday, then we changed to Monday because I was just trying to feel the club out, before we got too far into everything. And so we decided on Monday. Well, then 2 of my existing members and 3 prospects couldn't come on Monday anymore. So I was going to lose 5 people because they couldn't come on Monday. Well, that's not going to happen. So I started the Thursday. So we're going to build both clubs up. It's the same club, I'm not even gonna set it up as a satellite, because why? First and second. First Thursday, second Monday. They could come to both, but they're probably gonna hear the same thing. Now, February's program will be different. The Thursday club's going to hear from the Safe House for Women. The Monday club's already heard her twice. So the Thursday club's going to hear from Safe House for Women because she's in that Thursday night club now. The Monday night club is going to have a speaker on a project that Southeast Hospital's doing for the children's area. So she's going to be Monday. Now in March, I'm going to have the same speaker at both. It's going to be CASA. I don't know if you're familiar with CASA. Okay. So that person's going to talk at both meetings. So, but that was the whole idea, is the meetings would be identical. So all the club members would get the same information. And that was the whole idea behind it. Not to have two entirely different meetings. Other questions? They could go to both because they're going to see different people, and they can go to both. Each and every month, if Thursday works for you one month, but Monday works the next month, you're not tied to only on Thursday and only on Monday. You can go to either one anytime you want to. I obviously am going to all of them because I'm the club president. Which I don't mind, because you guys know that I love Rotary. So I'm going to go to any meeting that I can. Any other questions? I love it. I am having so much fun opening the eyes to people that are just joining the club, that just don't have they know they want to help the community, but they don't really know what Rotary is. So it's my job to teach them about Rotary. Yes, Tom.
And the other club, they've stepped up their game as far as service a little bit.
Yes, they have. They have not. I was going to tell you about a situation that I was trying to get a spouse of a Jackson Rotary member to join our club. You know, I kept, because she's who I got my Rotary cards from. I thought, well, that's a good end, because her husband's in Rotary. She knows about Rotary, and so I kept emailing her and asking her to join. And all of a sudden, I get an email from the spouse. I want to join your club, and I told him he couldn't. And because I promised all the other clubs that I would not take their existing members. Now, if they resign, they're fair game because they're not a member of any club.
There may be some other club that probably want to be doing stuff. I thought that's why they joined the Rotary, is to be a service and find out they're just for lunch every week. And admire your having a certain level.
It's called ethics. But
after a year, I think you could waive that. Talk to them and say, hey, your folks aren't happy, you're not
right,
doing anything.
but this is how I handled it. I went to the club president and I told her what the situation was. I said, I just want you to know that I did not solicit him. I was soliciting his wife, and this is how it happened. She said, I don't have a problem with that. And she didn't, but other members did. I told him that he's not transferring his membership. He had to resign and then he could join our club. Because I said, you're not moving your membership. You have to resign. You have to have your dues caught up. Now, you have to be good with this club before you quit. And so they terminated him just December 30th. And he joined my club January 6th. Because this is the way it has to be, you know. Yes.
Since we've changed locations,
Mhm.
we're in discussions about changing our name to kind of address that.
Right.
What was the process you used to get your new name? Because we've got ideas.
Survey Monkey. I asked the club members, that the future club members, because keep in mind, this Survey Monkey was before we even chartered, right? It was our planning stage. So through survey,
Suggestions.
yes, I will just read you some of them. Let's see. Okay. So I won't say Rotary Club of, I'll just, okay. So Southeast Missouri, Cape Community Service, Evening Warriors, Local Workers, Helper Heroes, Helping Hands, Cape Evening Club, Southeast Service, Cape Community Service, that came up several times. That was it. So Southeast Missouri came up a couple of times. Cape Service came, but like I said, I didn't want another Cape Girardeau club. So the service came up several times, Cape Community Service. Evening Warriors, like we are not Vikings, you know, we're Helping Hands, there's already an organization for that. Cape Evening Club, no. But Southeast Missouri came up a couple of times. Service and the other, that's how we came up with Southeast Missouri Service.
So was it a consensus agreement or what, how did you finally come up with that?
Oh, yeah, I said, so I took all these names, combined them in, sent it out to the group. What do you think about this? And everybody's like, oh, that's pretty good. So, but I always ask the club what they want to do. I don't just do it, you know. This is a partnership, so they have to have input, or it's not going to work.
So we had input from our group. The question is, because outside, since we're in a new community, we get any input from them? We have a couple different opinions.
Where's the closest Rotary Club from here?
Quite a bit. Ladue, Lincoln, Ladue, or West County. West County. Or
So how far is Overland from here?
the next time.
A mile, okay. So are you thinking of not even really going with a city name? You're thinking more like a community. I don't know, is there some kind of, Southeast Missouri also came about because we have the university. And Southeast Missouri is used a lot in a lot of organizations. So it just seemed natural. See, I'm not familiar at all with your area, so I wouldn't have any idea what to suggest, but if you were going with an
What are the big suggestions?
area,
Two or three?
We had Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Was one, and Midwest County was the other one, and I think that's actually two. Those are two.
We throw that once in there for one thing.
Midwest County, yeah.
Like that side. If you're outside your region, you're like, Midwest what?
exactly.
Having been a district governor, kind of, when social media was a lot bigger, I did a lot of search on club dates, and I for example, I used to work for the Southern Missouri Club, and I found one online, wow, this is awesome, they do great things, and I realized, that's working. Almost any club, there's a similar club in some of the states, almost exactly the same name.
Yeah.
And they'll post an event, we're having a fish fry on Thursday at Smitty's Drive, like. Where wants to be drive? One of those folks that day. So I don't like St. Louis because we're not in St. Louis. We're in a region, but I don't like Gateway or something. But
One of the,
we're still working.
you know, one of the issues we, as you were talking about, we decided we don't want to have a time attached to it. Because if we move to being a new or flexible or, you know, whatever it might be, Sunrise Club is just isn't going to cut it. And we no longer want it to be one community. Simply because St. Louis being parochial, the first issue you have is if you don't belong to that community. I had nothing to do with it. There's no reason for me to join. So that's why we're in the generic, like you were talking about, overarching regional area.
Right.
Rather than a specific locale.
Because Southeast Missouri covers all of the Blue Hill and above. So it's not tying us to anybody. I've got a girl that lives in Hillsborough, which they have the Hillsborough Rotary Club, lives in Hillsborough, but works in all of the Blue Hill. All of the Blue Hill. As far down as Kennett, all the way up to Farmington. I mean, so she's been, for 4 years now, she's been trying to find a Rotary Club to join because the weekly club, she's not in one area 2 weeks in a row, you know. So Friday night at the Jackson Chamber Annual Banquet, I got 3 new members at that banquet, including her. I'll tell you how it works sometimes. I was in the beer line and 2 people behind me were talking, and they were talking about living in Hillsborough. Well, I don't know who they are. So I turned around and I said, so you live in Hillsborough? She said, yeah. And you're at a Jackson Chamber event? I said, good for you. Well, then I started talking to her, and she works for job service, and she travels everywhere in the Boot Hill. And she said, yeah, she said, Cape County's asked me to join, Sykeston's asked me to join, Farmington's asked me to join, Hillsborough's asked me, St. John's asked me, Perryville's asked me. Everyone's asked me to join Rotary, but she can't. I said, well, how about an evening club once a month? Well, I could probably do that. So I sent her the application, so we'll see what happens there. The other thing was, there was a girl that caught me walking by, and she said, hey, Linda, I noticed that you've been doing a lot in the community. She said, can I join that club too? I said, yes, you can. She said, can my husband join too? Yes, he can. So she's filling out the application they're the couple that really like the SEMO Food Bank. And they're joining just because of that. So that they live in Cape. You just got to be at the right place at the right time sometimes. And I'm not afraid to talk about Rotary to anybody. I'll go up to a perfect stranger and talk about Rotary. That's just me. And I don't know a stranger because I'll talk to anybody. CAUSE, it's a new Rotary club model, but a cause-based, BASED, that's a new club model that you can really run the club however you want to in a non-traditional way. And you are focused on one thing. Like there's some clubs that are opening up just for veterans. So they're only focused on helping veterans. There might be school teachers. They might form their own little cause-based club and they would only work. You can, but you don't have to. Right. It's the focus of the club. It's the meaning of the club. It's why they opened. Cause-based. Our cause is service to our community. So instead of having meetings, we have service. So we overloaded in December, really, because I think we had, I know we had 3 projects, but go ahead.
How are you gonna handle things like foundation donations, you know, because that's such a passion for a lot of clubs?
My new foundation chair just got her Paul Harris +2 pin.
Wow.
She is the spouse of the Cape West Rotarian, and she knows the importance of the foundation. And she is already our program in November. So she's going to have the task of teaching the club about the foundation. I'm
send a couple members to what they call
Show Me Rotary.
Show Me Rotary.
Okay, so I'm working on that too because I didn't collect money for that. So I paid the $300 out of my own pocket because we hadn't had a fundraiser yet to pay for that. So, but I'm keeping kind of a tab of the stuff, you know, out of my own pocket. But anyway, I'm going, of course, because I'm club president and elect, but I'm trying to get someone else to go in that other spot. And that's what I'm working on. So it'll be someone, right. Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. A couple things real quick is a quick update on Bob Courtney, who would have loved to have been here for this. Bob was the catalyst for us getting to $1,000 per capita. So, but anyway, I talked to him the other day, and he's slowly getting better, but not where, he's not 100% yet. So, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers as he goes along.
I talked to him last night because I offered to bring him here, not knowing that he was going to and he said it's just going to be a long process.
Yeah.
But he's doing.
Yeah, that's right. He did say that he was going to California for a week or 2. So anyway, we'll be seeing him not too far off. We were going to have a new member induction today, but Chuck wasn't quite up to it yet. He wasn't feeling well. Just thought it'd be safe to stay at home one more week. So we'll do that next week. Bruce, real quick, just a quick, I know Mike kind of talked about what a lot of the stuff that you do, that you've done professionally. Do you want to maybe give us a little bit of update on yourself though, as far as anything that you'd like to talk about yourself real quick? Little introduction. Mike, I didn't know you were gonna go through mine. But, I'm married, we've been married for 3 years. Wife, name is Tracy. Which last year was very different because my son was going from 5th grade to 6th grade. My daughter graduated from high school year. My wife graduated from college. My other daughter graduated from college early, and she got married. Wow. And we had a job. And I had a job. So with that being said, I have 2 boys, I have 2 girls. The girls are married. And my wife and I moved to marriage for 3 years. Both of my career was spent in St. Louis public schools, and then I transitioned to high school. And I really enjoyed that. I guess I'm falling in love with my career, school district. Mike and Chris kind of take me here. But very thankful to be here. I guess the other thing is that I wanted to mention is the beautiful thing about the wedding ceremony is I got a chance to officiate the wedding ceremony. It's kind of interesting, you know, to see me walk my daughter down the aisle, and my pastor, after he said, you know, give this moment to be married to this man. I said, I do, and he said, ceremony started, he stepped out of the way. Very interesting, but my daughter's a school teacher. She lives in Oxford, Mississippi, and he's a basketball coach as well as a school teacher. And he's going to go back to become a pharmacist, but I think he's falling in pharmacist. And my wife, she works at April. She's going to school to get her certifications. A little bit about the outside.
Good. Thank you. Thanks. Welcome. Who's got the drawing stuff?
Can I
Oh.
say a quick word?
Sure.
I've been doing some behind the scenes discussions, and we all know for my presidential year next year, Bob Courtney has agreed to stay on as foundation chair. Al has graciously agreed to be membership chairman, and he sounded kind of excited about that to get involved, see how many of the Maryland Heights Chamber folks we can get in. Dave is going to be executive secretary and secretary, but he does not want to move up. I can certainly understand that with as busy as he is with zone and district. The public image, Mitch, that's kind of what you've been doing as well, isn't it? So would you agree to stay there? Okay, great. We still need a president-elect and president-elect nominee. Tom, you're going to show me, okay, and I am too. So we're covered for this year, and I have made the offer. I don't mind being president 2 years in a row if we can.
So
If we can get somebody to follow my steps. I heard somebody mention the other day that the Forest Park Club, Tim is going to be president for 2 years, but the second half of his second year, they want to transition somebody in. So if we could, and I'll send an email out about this as well. But if we could get somebody, I don't know, I'll do it for 2 years, but if we could transition someone, that way they don't have to go to show me Rotary this year. They can go next year. But we really, unfortunately, Todd and I were talking about something this morning, and he said, you know, you never know how long he's going to be here. I could drive out of the parking lot today and get by our back truck. I try not to, but then somebody's going to have to step in eventually as president. So we just need, and hopefully we'll get new members that'll, in that 2 years, and somebody will step in. So that was my plea.
Okay, very good. 94, number up for us.
039.
That's me.
I mean,
Almost feel like I'm in the drawing.